Assalamu alaikum students, this is Muhammad Ismail, your economics teacher. Today we will start a new topic under the same unit, economic development, and this topic name is poverty. I hope until now what we have discussed you might have developed some familiarity, or if you have any problems, so you're most welcome to ask. Anyhow, let's resume. Poverty. Poverty is the economic inability of economic agents to afford basic necessities of life. Now, what are basic necessities of life? We studied in the very beginning that basic necessities are also called needs or basic needs of life. And when we say needs, we did define that all those things without which human survival is not possible and one does possess the buying power. These are called basic necessities, and we name them food, clothing, shelter. So, if we redefine or we rephrase this definition, so we can say poverty is the economic inability of economic agents to afford basic needs of food, clothing, shelter for their life. So, this is how we can define poverty. Now, poverty can be of the following two types. One is called absolute poverty, and the other is called relative poverty. The curse for the society is absolute poverty, not the relative poverty. To me, as a social scientist, or so you can say as an economic student, relative poverty is a blessing in the disguise. But absolute poverty is the real killer of the societies and the societal values. How it is? Let's see. Absolute poverty. Number of people living below a certain income threshold. Now, what is this income threshold? Mean certain amount of money. If you are unable to earn or you are below that income, so then it means you are in the absolute poverty. So, what is that? According to you can say United Nations or according to some economists, they say if a person is unable to earn $2 a day, the person is considered to be in absolute poverty. But some economists from the third world countries they say it is not $2, it is $1. So anybody who is unable to earn $1 a day is considered to be under absolute poverty. But the most authenticated or authenticated definition or the authenticated figure is $2. So we can say those number of people living below $2 a day are called living in absolute poverty or living below the poverty line. So I hope with this you might be able to have a rough sketch or certain knowledge to see what absolute poverty is. So it means absolute poverty means that whenever you are unable to earn, or whenever a certain group or certain number of people are unable to earn $2 a day, they will be called that they are living below poverty line. Why? Because they will not be able to afford their basic necessities of life. So that is why we call them that they are trapped in absolute poverty. And when people are trapped in absolute poverty, are those countries where their people will be trapped in absolute poverty over there, in general, unfortunately, the crime rate will be high. Next is relative poverty. Relative poverty measures the extent to which a household's financial resources fall below an average income level. Now, for example, in a very simple way, we can say that how your income is greater than or less than from another person. This is called relative poverty. Now, for example, those people who are living in DHA or Gulberg, we can say that they are earning relatively high as compared to those who are living in, we can say that township or the slums of Lahore. So this is how we can differentiate between relative poverty and absolute poverty. But in case of relative poverty, are in the presence of income differentials, the society or the individuals in a society can have professional jealousy to be better and to work better and to earn more, which will help them basically to channelize their potentials and enjoy better living standards. Okay, after going through these two definitions of poverty, so for simplicity, let me repeat again. Absolute poverty means when a person is unable to earn $2 a day, and relative poverty means that when one person is earning less than another person, or one person is earning more than another person, that is relative poverty. So now we are going to discuss what are the causes of poverty. Now these causes of poverty we are going to discuss for the sake of absolute poverty rather than the relative one. Now causes of poverty includes unemployment. Now, what is unemployment? When one is willing and capable to work and does fall in the working age bracket but unable to find jobs. So that is called unemployment. So it means there are people who are willing to work but unable to find jobs. And then low wages. Now, there are people who have jobs but they are paid so low that they are unable to afford the basics of their lives. So that is why another reason for people to stay in poverty is the low wages paid to them. Then is illness. No, mostly when people are earning low, so it means their dietary conditions, then their hygienes, they are relatively poor. So whenever the diet and the hygienes are poor, so definitely they will be victim of illness. And due to this, they will further go into poverty. Why? Because they will have to spend money on their health, which unfortunately is already less. And then the age. So if there are people who are relatively old, they are unable to earn more. And those people who are too young, they don't have skills to get better paid. So that is why these are also the reasons for the poverty. Then there are certain policies to alleviate poverty and redistribute income. It means that if we want to reduce poverty, so what is which we can do? Number one, economic growth. It means an economy is to grow. When we say an economy is to grow, it means its GDP or the real GDP is to rise. When there will be rise in real GDP, so then there is a possibility of a rise in income. And that rise in income will help the economy to improve their education, mean they will be able to provide better education, and better educated people will have higher productivity, and highly productive people can earn high wages. So it means just with one good move by growing economically, the country can have better income, and with better income, there will be better education, and with better education, better productivity, and with higher productivity, higher earning opportunities. Then comes more generous state benefits. Now, state benefits mean the government spending. The government spends through taxes. It means if the government has enough taxes to collect, so then the government can spend more. It means increased spending on merit goods. Now, what are merit goods? Merit goods are the main merit goods are your health and education. It means these are the two main important merit goods. So if the government is going to spend on health and education, it means people will be able to spend less on these, and the savings from these health and education, they can improve their, you can say, spending on other amenities of life, such as food, such as, you can say, clothing, etc. So it means this will help to reduce their cost of living and improves their affordability of home, those who are poor, those who are in the poverty. So it means whenever the government will put or will spend more on merit goods, it will improve the living standards and it will improve the quality of life of people. Then comes the progressive taxation. As we said earlier, the government can only spend when it has certain taxes. So, progressive taxes mean that when the government charges or when the rate of tax increases with increase in income, it means the government is able to charge more or is able to collect more from the rich. Then increases government tax receipts and enables it to spend more on merit goods. So it means whenever the government is going to charge progressive taxation and progressive taxation is on rich, so it means the government will be able to collect more taxes. And when the government will have more money to spend, it can spend on merit goods, and this will improve the quality of life. But when the government is going to do so, or the government is able to do so, this will also improve the distribution and distribution of income. And when we say the distribution of income improves, this is another economic variable which is called, you can say, what you call that, that through this distribution of income or equal distribution of income, it improves parity, economic parity among people, mean economic equality among people. Then national minimum wage. Minimum wage is what? The wage which is introduced by the government so that no worker will be paid below that. And if the government is going to increase the national minimum wage, meaning the country level minimum wage, it will improve the workers' income. But this national wage raise will only be effective if the government is able to implement it properly. If it is supported by the rise in labor productivity, then there will be win-win situation. I mean, the firms will be willing to pay more wages or higher wages to those workers who are more productive. But if in case this is not the case, so then definitely the firms will not hire workers at a higher wage who do not have or who are not equally productive. So students, we will keep our today's lecture till this. The rest of the policies to alleviate poverty we will discuss in the next class. So until this, the problems which you come across, you can put in the email, and my email address is mismail345 at hotmail.com, or you can ask the questions through your WhatsApp group. Again, for a reminder, your assignments, your home tasks are still, except few students, couple of students are still due. So do them at your earliest in this blissful month of Ramadan. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.